Hey, good morning. Ozarks land, way too high. So, real estate is retail. And it's all too dadgum high. So, if you're going to buy Ozarks land, and it's all too high, at least if you're given premium price, buy a premium product. So, that's why I would show my linguistic skills off on this video and talk about what is a premium product. So everybody and their uncle wants live water. They want a balance of pasture and open. They'd like some highly productive ground. They'd like a wood lot where they can get their firewood and such. And, if you ever watched Andy Griffith, even the town drunk knows that land is high. So, all of these hillbillies in the Ozarks region, they've heard, kind of, sort of, what it's a-bringing. So, it's all priced at retail prices, pretty near. I mean, there's some cut-over timber ground that's on the market. There, every now and then there is a deal. Somebody's under pressure, and you will see 2 or 3 deals come through real estate every month. And if you've got cash in your bank account, you're ahead of probably 95% of your competitors. So I would tell you, be patient. Have some reserve. Some deals that I've seen in the last couple weeks, and this is July 8th or 9th, 10th, 2025. So there was 3 acres with power. It overlooked Gasconade river bottoms. It didn't have live water, but it was up on a hill, had a beautiful view, highway frontage, not a lot of traffic, couldn't see a house around it. And it was 3.6 acres. It was priced at $38,500. And had several calls, had several people tell me it was too high. And I said, yep, welcome to real estate / the Ozarks. But it's a mile from Gasconade River, less than a mile. It's a few feet from state, ground, conservation ground to hunt on and swim on and recreate. And so they were a pretty good buyer, and they said, hey, look, tell the guy we'll give him $25,000, I believe it was. So I called the seller, and let me tell you, he's a good one. And he said, I'll tell you exactly what he said, but he said, I know somebody who would like to own it for $25,000. And he does. So that one didn't work. Don't blame the buyer for trying. And if you're a buyer, I encourage you. I love a good solid offer. That was a good solid offer. I'll give you that. But it wasn't enough to break it loose. By the time he pays commission, closing cost, and his taxes on the gain, he's going to have to make some money. Because you know what? He's risking something when he bought it. Lots of unknown in that buying business. So anyway, that was up around Hartville. That was a good one. 2 months ago, there was an 1.5 acres with a cabin, with a septic. It didn't have a well. And let me tell you, it was in a floodplain because the watermark was evident on the doors. It had power, had a mini split, and had a fireplace. And it was priced at $29,500. Lasted about 12 hours. So another thing about being a buyer, know your market or have confidence in your agent. And when he says, you probably better make a move, don't be fee-fuddling around, and you need to make a move because it's going to be gone if it's a real deal. And I love it when buyers say, if it's such a good deal, why don't you buy it yourself? Okay. That's happened more than once. Let's see. There was 2 acres which, you know, most buyers say, oh, that's not nearly enough. Well, let me tell you something. In the Ozarks, it probably is. But your money, your life, I'm for you. Eyes are working for you, folks. 2 acres, I think it was at $12,000, which is $6,000 an acre. Had power, almost, I didn't run over the squirrel. Squirrel! It had power, it had water access on the back, it had gravel road frontage. It's about 30 or 3/4 of a mile off of the highway. It was in between Mammoth Springs and Hardy, Arkansas. And I think it brought $9,000, and it was on there maybe a week. So, what else we got cooking? These smaller tracts. You know, there was a 13-acre piece that just sold, I believe, for $87,000. It did have live water, kind of, sort of. There was a really good spring on the neighbor's property that was coming through there. It had power. Perfect place for 2 cabins. Beautiful location. Hayfield, little timber. So it was 13 acres, 2 acres on one side of the road, 11 acres on the other, and it brought $87,500. That just transpired in the market maybe 3 or 4 days ago. It closed, so it's public knowledge. You know, farms, a good one, they're all being priced at $5,000 an acre. They will sell between $3,500 and $4,200 per acre just for land if it's good and got a good location. Is that too high? Well, kind of, sort of. You know, if you're thinking that cattle are going to pay for it, you might want to think just a little harder and try not to be in California where there's land of fruit and nuts and high fiber. If you know, you know. Let's see here. Anyway, just a random Ozark Land Too High video to get on YouTube. If you're buying or selling, or want to buy or sell Ozarks land, you need to call Duncan Smith, Remax Farm and Home, 417-349-5630. Call me. I can represent you as a buyer's agent. If I'm working, if it's my listing, I can weed out the flakes, because the first thing I'll ask them is, if you like this property, can you buy it? And if they go, then they need to get a bank pre-approval. If they say, dadgum right, Mr. Smith, and it's none of your business, but I got the cash, then let's go to town, let's do some business. Anyway, real estate is a wonderful way to make a living, and it's a hard way to keep friends. But if they get liquored up, they probably weren't your friend to begin with. So, and they might be a tinkle squirrely. But just you, me, and us. And trust me, I've been squirrely in my days. Maybe they're just young. Anyway, be blessed. Call me. Over and out.